That's okay. We are live. Good morning, Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. And we have with us this morning Commissioner of the Department of Motor Vehicles, Andrew Collier, and the Deputy Commissioner, Matt Russo, and Legislative Affairs, Jordan Villa. And I appreciate your quick turnaround and flexibility. I knew that we were going to get our DM3 presentation. I just know when exactly it would be on the schedule in the first week. We certainly welcome you to the witness stand. And my hope is that we're going to hear about sort of an update of the DMV over the last 6 months since we left, 7 months, whatever, since it's 7 to 8. Somebody want to tell me exactly since we left, what's happening, what happened. I'm particularly interested in, of course, the modernization rollout of November, and also kind of the requirements and the pieces that were in the bill for last year that you had to do. And so we're hoping you can give us a state of the DMV for the last 6, 7 months, and then whether you want to take questions during it. We've got quite a bit of time available for as long as the members and questions, or as long as you and your team are available for this morning. We really want to that. And then I also would like to encourage the members that we'll have the commissioner's team back after the budget comes, and then we won't really see them again until the miscellaneous DMV bill comes back from the Senate after crossover. So today's kind of about what's happened since we've been out and what we anticipate maybe happening and updating, and then sort of what do we want them to be ready to bring to us when they come back after crossover with the DMV bill. So sort of a 1, 2, 3 piece for this morning, and I'm happy to use a full hour or as long as we need to make sure everybody's ready for the pieces that they want when we're moving forward. So again, thank you very much for joining us this morning, Commissioner, and we'd like to pass it off to her.
Andrew Collier, Commissioner DMV for the record, and thank you, House Transportation. Thank you, Chair. Happy to be the first individual in the seat for the session, or I think I'm the first. If not, I'll take it. So state of DMV, we have had my first year here. I can't take any credit to the team at DMV. It's had a phenomenal year. I think Vermonters are seeing the fruits of the investment into the DMV. Our law enforcement team's been busy out there. Our modernization project, I don't want to steal a thunder. I'm going to pass off to Jordan Villa here shortly, who was the DMV lead on that project, but that came in on time and under budget, which can't be said for. I won't get into that. So I will start out with the early renewal. I know that was where we left off last year on the licenses. I just have some numbers that we will touch on for that. Since we rolled that section out, we've had 3 junior operator licenses that have done the early renewal. 42 of the non-driver ID. So that is just the ID card. I know we had a big presentation last year on different licenses classes we had. And then the operator licenses, we had 448 early renewals that were handled for a total of 493. Those all went off without a hitch. Certainly didn't hear anything from the public side. I know our team worked extremely hard to make sure we rolled that out quickly, and we're accommodating to all the folks that came in for that. So I'm proud of the DMV for rolling that out as quickly as we did.
Do you have a breakout of the counties or the locations, or you don't have that?
I don't have that. That's something we can dig into.
Curious of where the most of those transactions took place.
Just one sec. Representative Pouch has a question for you too.
Yeah, could you just give us a reminder, and for everybody else, but for me mostly, this allowed you, before you only had 30 days that you could, your licenses, your IDs coming up, and you had 30 days beforehand to do it. And now how much?
So this would allow an individual to come in during kind of any time frame within that license period and renew for an additional 2 to 4 years going out.
So 4 years was the maximum.
Yeah.
That's a good example of Seniority has its privileges, can ask whenever they want. The rest of us all have to wait our turn and be called on. Commissioner. Representative Thompson.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to share a lot of gratitude for the smooth rollout. I heard from constituents who went and did the early renewal process, and they were really grateful for the opportunity and felt that it went smoothly with DMV staff. So
That's great. Thank you for the feedback. I know the team worked really hard on making sure we accomplished what that goal was.
So I can make sure that I understood, and you'll probably have the data when you come back again, or as far as on the spreadsheet and in the county. So basically 500 Vermonters took advantage of the law that we passed within the time frame since we left till now.
Yes.
Since it became effective until now, which it was effective upon passage.
Yes. Yeah.
And so basically 500 Vermonters felt that was something they needed, and we delivered that. Okay. I just want to make sure I understood it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, Representative what?
I just have one question. So of those 493 early renewals, were any of those real IDs or are these all?
We can also get that breakdown for you. Come back. All right. Inspection stickers. I know this is gonna open up a big can of worms. We're gonna come in here and have a good chat about inspections shortly. One of the items that I, just coming from my law enforcement lens, found was that the inspection sticker, the way with the QR code and the way the lettering was on the current sticker, and that's not saying, and we have a stock of that yellow, so without letting that go to waste or spending money, I wanted to make a change so that trying to make it more visible for law enforcement to be able to see. So January 1st, we rolled out with a new, improved or larger, pass around, a larger numbering. We got rid of the QR code. And honestly, I was working the road when we had the QR code. I never knew what that was for. No one really used it. So we got rid of that. We blew up the month, and then the year should be a little easier to see as well when you're quickly passing by a vehicle. So we're hoping this is an incremental change in trying to move that needle in the right direction on the enforcement side. I know we're going to be back in here talking about inspections a lot more. So, but this is just one area where we're quickly able to kind of make a change, and hopefully we can see shortly how positive effect that is. Temp tags.
Representative what?
On the inspections, can you remind me, does law enforcement pull over a car for an expired inspection sticker?
Yes.
It's
Just to clarify, you mean as like a routine, like not like a secondary offense as a,
Like if
Primary
they see a car driving by and they see an expired date, is that enough
Yes.
reason to pull over a car?
Yes.
And give them a warning, a ticket, something?
yes, yeah, that's would be a primary probable cause
Okay, thank you.
stop for a vehicle.
Representative Wells.
We met with law enforcement Orleans County about 6 weeks ago, and state police, county sheriffs, and Newport City Police. They basically said wasn't priority one, but if you're picked up for speeding and you don't have a sticker, you certainly will be ticketed for that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just a quick question, when you started to revamp these inspection stickers, one of the things that we heard that was originally the color. Why was yellow picked? So when you redid this, did you think about doing green or something like that for Green Mountain States? Change it?
Absolutely, and that's something we are looking at. We have such a large stock of the yellow right now.
Yeah.
I think I can come back with some more solid numbers. I think it was around $300,000 we would kind of just blow away.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm trying to work on, because the colors really are what catch your eye.
Yeah.
it is something we're looking at, and it just, how do we make that change and how do we do it kind of in a fiscal lens too, to make sure we do it appropriately.
Yeah, we're all about feng shui in here. Are you thinking of change, like each month would have a different color or switch to another all green? Or,
It would be, I'm not sure exactly how it'd be, either yearly or back to the way it used to be where it was every even month.
yeah, like green one year, blue the
Yeah.
next year. Okay, thank you.
Representative Casey?
How much money does the state make off the inspections?
I can get that number for you, right? But
Thought it was $8.
Yeah, you see.
it was, I believe last year was 3.8 million. The per sticker fee, if once Matt knows off the top of his head.
Is that after all the expenses are paid? I mean, is that what we?
But I will, that'll be part of our, we come back and.
No, I know. I
I'll get
didn't
that
want to-
added in.
I want to dive in a little bit, but not too much.
Representative Wells?
Andrew, can I keep that sample because that's just about my rig right there.
Need a pair of scissors? I think we got some up here.
Year close, vehicle is correct.
Put it right there, slide that right into the,
Is there extra copies in there?
Funny, every transportation member has exactly the same.
Excellent. Excellent. Inspections, of course, is, we've promised that our body, certainly to cross, there's a huge swell, and obviously across the river, they decided to make changes and do away with most of their inspection, not all of it, which gets lost a little bit in people's comments. I remind people they didn't entirely do away with the inspection program. But I know that that's a big topic of conversation going ahead, and I think the Senate's going to get the first crack at it, but that doesn't mean that we don't have our thoughts about what should or shouldn't happen. I certainly hear about it. Well, for the last 24 hours, I've heard a lot about it. Emails before that, I've heard significant about it, so I'm not sure where we're gonna go with that exactly, but Representative Couch will add on to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be good to plant the seed that we will be wanting to look at, okay, how much income comes in? What are the costs to, do all the behind the scene programming, all the stuff, track everything, approve everybody.
Absolutely. We're prepared to spend a lot of time talking about inspections, so. Temp tags, so, trying to find my correct words to use on this. I think a lot of people have noticed at least this past year, a lot of vehicles had the printout DMV temporary license plates. And a lot of those vehicles, if you had a daily commute and stuff, never seemed to upgrade those to a green plate. I worked with our team, worked with our legal. I was, as a commissioner, it was determined that as long as we are making a change to the program, I could pause the issuance of those. So I'm just being open and honest with you all here. So we made a pause to that program for the issuance of the temporary tags while we work to adjust it so that you have to pay all your fees up front in order to be able to print that. I think we have anecdotally seen a decrease in those paper plates. We have seen, I don't have any firm numbers yet to come in here with you. I will when we come back. A increase in people coming in for their actual registration and walking out with their plates now. So I think this is a move in the right direction. I will say, and again, when I come back with the numbers here when we present, but back in Napkin, we had roughly 2/3 of people that had a temporary plate never came in to get that never translated into coming into a real registration.
Does that also mean that the fee and or possibly the taxes due, the fee that?
Correct. So you weren't,
Use tax and
So your purchase and use was not getting paid, your registration obviously was not getting paid. What we're seeing, you could see it a lot on Front Page Forum, on Facebook Marketplace, people were selling vehicles. And they would cycle through family members with their licenses to get a new $6 temporary license plate and just put on the vehicle and run it. Use someone else's at 3 months, and that's if they wanted to try to be legal with it. A lot of them just were just printed and not kind of updated either. So it was an area that it was kind of a loophole, if you will. So we're working on making that change to the system. It's in the queue to get worked on the system. I don't have a time frame though on that yet. But we've, outside of kind of maybe social media comments when we first launched that on Facebook, there really hasn't been much communication from the public saying it's really affected
This will be on all,
transportation.
be all pre-owned and used vehicles.
Yeah, so for any instance that you would want to have a temporary registration or a temporary tag printed out, you would have to go in and
Private sales.
Yeah,
This isn't
yeah, private.
To do with the dealership.
not for dealerships. No, they have their own set of tags because again, I think unintentionally when it came out again, this was during COVID, so it was a lot of things were going. It was good at the time. I think unintentionally it created a separate user experience for Vermonters, right? Because if I go to a dealer, you go to a dealer, purchase vehicle, I have to write a check or get it financed in, and all that's done there. And a lot of people were realizing I don't have to do that option anymore. If I do a private sale, I can just go spend $6 and print out my registration. So it was creating, unfortunately, a separate user experience for Vermonters. And also, I think unintentionally was setting up some Vermonters to create kind of a criminal action, if you will, right? Because they ran these thinking they were good, but now, now as enforcement was starting to step up, and you're kind of creating a situation where you're putting Vermonters in a kind of awkward position as well.
I've seen, I think we've all seen vehicles ride around. It looked like these vehicles are on their last ride. And I'd see them around for a while around my area. And it's like, they always had a paper tag on it. So that answers some questions for me. You just tell me. So you guys are kind of getting gamed a little bit on that.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
I saw lots of them.
Yeah,
I saw
there was lots. We heard
lots
from
of
our
vehicles around that didn't look like they were going to pass inspection, and I
um,
don't know. I saw some rough vehicles with paper plates in the back.
and outside of just Vermont, we had a lot of feedback from partner states having an issue with it, with fraud and
wow.
criminal nexus, people getting
So-
tags.
so
and
out of-
running them.
So out of state, you could obtain these.
Well, technically, you're supposed to be in state, but because it was so easy to get,
Well,
I mean, you would.
I'm glad you guys did something. That's good.
So just to clarify, so this procedure change happened during COVID and not as part of the IT upgrade in November.
Right. So this law, I believe it was 2020, 2021 was a change to allow to print out,
The registration
Temporary,
and
yeah.
License plate online.
yeah.
Okay.
And then we just made the change to pause it January. So anything that you'd see now, if it was saying it's printed, it's unable to be printed. So
And I would imagine that you all have a database of all the people who printed out those temporary registrations and license plates. Is there opportunity for you to have your team follow up with them on the phone or?
I guess, can you expand?
Well, so say I printed out my temporary registration and license plate 3 years ago and for $6, and I'm driving around in my car with that. If I'm in your database, could someone from the DMV call me and say, what you currently have is not valid, you're gonna have to come in and
So I think during the process, it was clearly stated this was a temporary tag. It was on you to come in, that it's only good for X amount of time. You need to come in and pay your fees. I don't know if we would have even all that information to contact, and I think the list, I mean, we're talking, since this was started, about 200 and over 200,000 temporary tags have been issued.
Wow.
So it's not a small number, and it's hard, I think resource wise, it's.
I gotcha. Yeah, wow.
Representative House?
Yeah, this is a fascinating topic.
Mhm.
So, and it was did you say it was $7 to do the temporary,
Six.
and it's good for 7 days?
No, it was good for 60 days. Yes.
60 days. And about 200,000 have been issued over the 4 or 5 years. I think what the representative is saying, you know how many were issued, and you should be able to cross-reference who actually went back and got real plates.
And that's what we have tried to do. It's a rough number, but we've tried to take the VIN at least and cross to see. And that's where we come about 2/3. It's over 200,000. I don't want to give the exact,
So about
but
2/3.
2/3 never came in. That never translated into a real registration.
Some of those vehicles may have been resold or stopped running, but there's, some out there.
Yeah.
Haven't paid their fees.
At least 2/3 haven't.
Yeah.
Of the 200,000, of the 200,000?
Yeah, it's the number's over 200. I don't want to give you the exact number, but I know it's over 200,000, so it's not.
But you also testified that, we passed that vehicle through the whole family several times.
Yeah.
Really, it's 10.
Representative Corcoran.
Just curious, is there a time frame of your authority to suspend this program as a commissioner before legislation has to take place?
So I was told as long as we're able to say we're working on it, which we are, it's in the queue for the programming piece. That is okay. Happy to have a car. Certainly have. Yeah, I don't have an exact time frame yet because we do have a list of items we're still working through. It is on the list. But certainly happy when we come back to have a conversation more about this.
Coming to the committee, I guess.
Pretty much.
Is it coming to the committee this year or not? Is there some language headed our way for this year? Is that a preview of the possibility that the language will come our way?
To be determined, I guess.
Okay. Make sure I understand. I understand what you're asking. I've been saying, you're not sure that you're coming with language this year or not.
Yes, not sure. So as we're tracking it, there's undetermined. There's also a price tag. So I do want to make sure when I show back up, at least the committee is aware how much that change is for fees and stuff, and whether we want to have a conversation, whether or not there's other ways of doing it. So.
Representative Heath?
Just doing some figures here, but it appears that we may have lost almost $9 million over 5 years of revenue. Just a insight.
Well, I guess I want to. These people pay their $6 or whatnot, but whether they did or didn't ever pay the purchase and use tax is the question.
So if they never transitioned into a Vermont plate, we never would have received the purchase and use. So when you
Which is based on the value, which we wouldn't have anyway, no. Representative Thorne?
So Representative Keiser, your calculation is based on just the registration of $93,
But
not the purchase and use tax.
What I understood was that 200,000, 67% of them did not renew. So we missed $6 on 134,000 vehicles. And then if you take an average value of $1,000 on a vehicle and multiply it times 134,000, that's $8 million of sales and use tax that wasn't paid.
Yeah.
So this is not insignificant.
Well, if the value were to generate $1,000 in purchase and use tax, some of the would be, these are private sale vehicles that potentially values could range dramatically.
Yeah.
And having just one more thing in that, We're only getting.
This is our first opportunity to remind everybody we only get
First
2
opportunity to, we need all
Oh,
of
yeah.
the.
Yeah, you didn't calculate
Does
that.
that calculate?
Well,
Put that in?
If I can obscure the issue anymore, I will, but I'm not going to.
I gotta remember to keep going that way, but Representative White.
But the registration fee, the $6 was just the temporary cost.
just
Because
to
an
print it.
actual registration fee
Great.
is,
That's
yeah,
my point.
yeah. And then plus the purchase of new. So I guess I would just say, good job
Yeah.
that you have identified this pretty significant loophole. And I think whatever we can do to try to, it sounds like you've stopped it, but also try to recoup some of the money and find some of the people who took advantage of it would be financially beneficial to.
Sounds like that's one that we'll hear a lot more about. So we're gonna hear more about the license renewals. There were some questions. We're gonna hear more about, a little bit more about inspection and the tags, and we've got some more questions on this temporary license or license plate. So you have lots of projects going on.
Yes, we do. Last two items before I hand it off here. This past December, we started at our new St. Albans office. We are reusing the old AOT building off Lower Newton. And that kind of worked out perfectly with that shuffle up with them moving out. And then our lease, we were told over the summer that our lease at our old location up by the state police barracks was gonna, we had to be out by October. So there was a short window where we were closed in St. Albans, but that office is back open. It looks beautiful. Lots of parking spots up there, and I'd say happy to have that open. And then the last item, it's just more of I know we're a law enforcement side of being here, but just something I'm proud of our team. With the governor's Burlington initiative, our team was down there. We weren't on the news as much, which we're fine with, but we're working the traffic end of that detail down there, and our team did a phenomenal job. We had some arrests down there, a lot of great interactions with the public, and just something I know our team will be in here shortly to talk more about what's been going on their side of the house this year. So, but just something they were great, stepped up. I know we have a smaller team than other law enforcement agencies, so just something I'm proud of.
That enforcement in the Church Street area, that's done as of January 1st.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. they
And
did.
our team was primarily out on the Beltline, North End, and then Route 7 corridor.
They did a great job. Too bad Burlington was foolish enough to chop off a third of their law enforcement a few years ago.
No comment. I will, I'm going to pass it off to Jordan Villa. He was our department lead for the modernization project. And now that is done, way back when the project started, he was doing legislative affairs. So now he's back into his original role, and also, but he's going to give a phenomenal update on the modernization project. And then we'll pass off to Matt Russo, will give an update on the e-permitting, which is another big initiative we got going on.
Good morning. My name is Jordan Villa. I'm DMV's Director of Strategic Planning and Legislative Affairs. Like the Commissioner said, I have led our modernization efforts for the last 4.5 years. Prior to that, for about 5 years, I was right here in this room directing our legislative affairs. So I'm glad to be back. It's been a long 4 years, but it's been great. We've made so much progress. It's unbelievable how much we've been able to grow as a department. So it was a 3-phase project. I'm not sure how much you guys know about it, but it was a 3-phase project beginning in 2019. So 2019 to 2020, we launched our commercial vehicle operations project. And then 2021 through 23, we focused on vehicle services. So vehicle registrations, title, purchase and use tax, revenue categorization, and document retention. And then beginning in the spring of 2024, we started work on our driver services project, which was our final phase, which launched successfully on time, under budget, November 13th of this past fall. So, excuse me. With that, we were able to retire our 50-plus-year-old mainframe. Numerous Microsoft Access databases. Just prior to the project, if you looked at our IT systems, it was a giant spider web. Nothing really talked to each other. Paperwork had to be touched 7, 8, 10 times by numerous individuals from start to finish. It took 3-4 weeks up to sometimes for once we received an application for the applicant to have an actual registration document titled credential, whatever they were here for. Now that we are live, you can come into our office, any office around the state. As long as you have the requisite paperwork, you will walk out with your registration, your title, a temporary license since credentials are not printed on site. But we have seriously streamlined many processes. And with that, the public is seeing numerous benefits. Like I said, they get their documentation immediately, just about. When you do come into the office, once you get to the counter, things proceed far quicker than they used to. We have eliminated numerous opportunities for error through the integration of eligibility checks, such as, the state-to-state verification service. So when an applicant comes in, they give us a license from New Hampshire. We switch it into Vermont. We communicate with New Hampshire and all around the country, verifying their eligibility, bringing their license into Vermont. So it ensures that this person has a Vermont license. They do not have a license anywhere else. We also, verify through the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse to make sure that commercial drivers have completed their medicals. And just a lot of other checks in the background like that I don't need to go into. We have also expanded online services. So prior to our launch, we were very limited in what you could do online. And when you did complete a transaction online, it seemed to the public as though it was done. But that was just the beginning, and it had to be touched multiple times in the background by our staff. And now that we've gone live and integrated, everything is actually seamless, done online, hardly ever has to be touched by an individual. There are still some instances where it needs to be touched just to verify, various issues that may come up, but very seamless. We've expanded the options for things you can get online, so you can now request your driving record. You can check in to see, where is my license? I came in 3 days ago. Has it been printed? Where is it? When am I going to get it? So we've eliminated the need to call. You can also verify if you're a lien holder on a vehicle. You can just go right online and see, hey, am I the lien holder on this vehicle? And vice versa. If you're purchasing a used vehicle, you can verify that it does have a lien, it does not have a lien. You can find out who the lien holder is, so you can reach out if you need to. In addition, we have, I would say, not to say that there was ever a risk to Vermonters' public data or personal information, but we've strengthened our systems to ensure that it is even more safe. So when we were doing our development for the last phase, we had numerous conversations about what should be shared, what shouldn't be shared, how am I going to verify who you are? So we've definitely tightened that up.
Representative McCoy, you have a question?
So we register a vehicle and obviously most of us will have an auto loan, so there is a lien on the record. And when that gets paid off, we get the title from the insurance company or somebody that does that. How do you find out that there's no lien there? is it up to the insurance company to let you know, or you don't care until until I either sell the vehicle to somebody else, or what happens? Because you know there's a lien on it,
Correct.
but then do you know when it gets paid off?
We know it gets paid off if you tell us that
Tell
it was
us.
paid off.
And how would, then what?
So
Like, what do you do? Just bring in the title and say, here it is, or do you have to pay a fee to say, take it off?
you bring in the title with, either the lien holder can sign off physically on the front of the title saying no one was satisfied, or they give you just a form letter saying that it was satisfied. And there is a fee associated with it.
Okay, just checking. But not necessarily, you don't really, that lien can, like, you can know, you can think that there's a lien on the property until the owner trades it or sells it.
Correct.
You don't care, really. Okay, thank you.
And just a couple little statistics I'd like to share. Since we launched the My DMV system in November of 2023, 98,000 accounts have been created. And we've completed nearly, as of this morning, nearly 1 million transactions online.
How many, Representative Dodge?
Yeah, and so we've been hearing about the project all along, and I'd really like the part that I'm hearing about, less touching, which is less errors, all this sort of mistake proofing, simplification, optimization. But of course, it costs a lot of money to do. And it's got to be producing savings of time, people's time. And so is there any analysis that shows, hey, this was, here's what it costs, but here's what it's saving over time? I'm just sort of curious if any of that has been maybe initially to say, hey, this is what we need to do, or was it, hey, these mainframes are going to crash and we don't do something now? So just looking for, just the justification and going forward, are there long-term savings there?
We haven't conducted any analysis as of now. I can tell you that much. And I know, I don't want to speak out of turn, but the plan was we would not be eliminating any staff for jobs. I mean, so.
Yeah. And are there like customer surveys that have happened over time? I mean, it's always the joke, the DMV, but I can say in my, doing stuff online, registering my vehicle and all that, I'm all for it. It's simple, it's easy. But do you have customer surveys that show, hey, now satisfaction has gone up?
Anecdotally, I can tell you that I've seen numerous reviews that are very appreciative. I mean, sure, you're still going to get the ones that say DMV is what DMV is.
Yeah.
But I don't think we have done a comprehensive survey of our.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Out of you mentioned there's 98,000 accounts. Do you have a estimate or a goal of what you might think that number should grow into? Is there a certain amount of users how many users does DMV have? In other words, any idea what that percentage might be compared to people who are still in a manual process or haven't yet hit their license or registration renewal and whatnot? Is there an idea that number should grow to 150 to 200? How many Vermonters are we thinking that goal should be, or that are staying in a manual process?
That number includes businesses, just so we're all clear. It's not just individual Vermonters. We had 7,500 create an account last month.
So it's still growing quick.
Yeah. So once more Vermonters understand the benefits to having the account, I would expect it to continue to grow. So, I mean, you can do far more transactions through your MyDMV account than you could do if you're not logged in, as we call it. So once we really get the benefit out there, I think we should see it grow significantly. So 7,500 just last month. We don't have an idea of how high that might get, or is there 300,000 DMV? How many customers does the DMV have? I guess is kind of a real generic question. I'm not sure what that would be.
How many people on the committee have the account set up? Sit down, get out.
It's very easy.
It's not that night. Room for
I
improvement.
got one.
I got one.
I do have one. Representative White?
Has there been a public outreach campaign to let the public know about this newfangled rate system that the DMV has created for them?
Yeah, we did one in November of 23, and then we did another one October, November timeframe of 2025.
And what about, was that like Front Porch Forum, Vermont Public? Like, how do you?
So we partnered with Place Creative out of Burlington. They did media buys, so it was across social media. I'm pretty sure it was on local television. Yeah.
Is there a preview or as we gather this data, what enhanced reporting capability and sort of data driven piece that we can expect? Kind of been a challenge from my perspective, in the limited time I've been in this chair, or even earlier in the chair. What we have, what's trending, what's up, what's down, what we're missing. The data out of that mainframe has been pointed as a reason for not having a whole lot of, like you say, significant information on our monitors. What can we anticipate as you think, or can you speak to the reporting capabilities and the data mining that's going to be available or is becoming available to us?
Sure. We have always had an inordinate amount of data. We just couldn't actually access it or, analyze it effectively. The system we have now is extremely robust as far as reporting whatever we need. So just like, for example, the early renewals and the stuff that the commissioner reported on this morning, we have a report built. I got those information this morning, click of a button, took me, 20 seconds. So we have hundreds of reports already built. We're building more every day, basically. So if there is specific information that you are looking for, with a little lead time to develop it, we can tell you just about anything you're looking for.
Well, for the committee, we're certainly obviously very interested in the number and the revenue associated with it over time. That's certainly, and those are sort of the data points that whether it be in licenses or in registrations or in the commercial side of it, and of course in sales and use, we're looking for that sort of what are we missing. And there is, I guess that would be more directed towards the commissioner in the future conversations. We did a 20% DMV fee increase, and we haven't seen anywhere near a 20% increase in revenue. Substantially below the 20%. I understand you're not going to get all of 20%, but to see revenues being in the 11, 12, 13% above where instead of 15 to 16 or 18 as an example, and not having any data to support what is up, what is down, and what is missed. Those are the kind of things that I'm hoping for future committees will be much more obvious, or more even before the committee for your own selves, what actions need to be taken to address that. And that's a concern, I guess I would say, is that how can we be so far below 20? I get we're not going to hit 20, but how can we be so far below 20 is a concern for me. But I don't think that data has been hugely available in the past. So those are the type of things that I would be looking at. We can't answer that inspection information as easily as we'd like. We can't answer the number of licenses broken down by categories as easily, and the renewals and I'm hoping that we're going to see some significant presentations when the finance portion of your group comes back. And Jordan, I don't think that was necessarily directed for you as much as it is for the whole team, but I think the team's already well aware of sort of what it's been like and what it needs to be like. Sounds like though we're going to have that.
Yes. So I worked on the fee bill, I don't know, a couple times, 2 or 3 times in my previous stint. That was it was a nightmare to try to get that data for you. We worked really hard to create reports as we've been developing the system now. We have multiple reports now that I looked at just today, and it breaks it down by basically every statute and how many times we charged the fee, how much we collected. So like generating this year's fee bill report was far, far easier than it ever has been. So.
I'm not sure where else we were in the presentation before we took you off on a few side notes.
I'm happy to answer any other questions at this point.
So we hear a lot less DMV jokes now, is that what we're saying? They just started up a new television show on.
Right, that's fine.
Somewhere. I haven't seen it yet, but I did see a commercial for it, so I might have to track that down. Was it, you're saying it was,
It's fun.
it's fun?
Yes.
Does anybody have any other questions or? Thank you for the
Thank you.
years that you put into the project.
Absolutely.
And perhaps it's a success story that needs to be written somewhere in or shared a little bit more, because obviously we hear plenty of the failures and we've had plenty as a state, but this is not one of them. Sounds like we were in the brink of a failure and now we have a robust system that's working every day for Vermonters. At least 98,000 of them and another 7,500 new each month is something that we would want to share. So thank you for leading it. Welcome back to legislative liaison work.
Thank you. Would like to just say that while it was a huge effort from DMV, it wouldn't have been possible without our partnership from both our vendor and agency digital services. So they deserve kudos as well.
Yeah, getting back to sort of the savings and the benefits, we'll call it. I mean, it seems like you could at least calculate, how many trips to the DMV are eliminated because people are, doing it online.
Sure.
And that's got to be a significant amount. And somebody could apply a cost to that, to the facility, to the work, the time. Just, yeah, like you say, I think it's a success story. That's important to say.
I imagine those employees are working on other work.
Yeah.
They're not processing these pieces. And I do know last year's budget had a reduction in workforce or positions. I don't think it actually was actual people, but there were positions in last year's budget that were reduced in the DMV. I believe 3 was the number I recall, but I could be wrong. But there were positions that they weren't related necessarily directly, but they are doing work with less positions than you had. The budget last year had reduction in positions. I recall that pretty straightforward. So. Representative White?
I guess I have one more question. And again, thank you for this. Sounds like a great project and the DMV is in much better shape than it's been in a long time. I guess I would love to see a sample of the public outreach campaign that was undertaken. And perhaps that includes a list of here are all the incredible benefits that Vermonters are getting from this new online system. Like you were talking about, a process that took 3 weeks. Now you can walk in and pretty much have your paperwork except for your license. So things like that are really meaningful. If you have that on a bullet points or something, I'd love to see that. Thank you.
Thank you for your work.
Would.
Appreciate it.
Great job.
Thank you.
Matt Russo, Deputy Commissioner for DMV. I'm glad to be back. I'm going to share with you our most recent completed project, our online commercial permitting system. For a little background, I'm not sure how much you guys know about online commercial permitting. Big trucks, heavy trucks carrying front end loaders traveling through Vermont public highways. Obviously, it's going to be wear and tear on the roads. We have bridges that can't hold the weight, height. There are several restrictions through cities and towns. So what the system does is provides an online platform for those traveling through Vermont with these giant trucks, creating wear and tear to pay for and receive their permit on the spot right there. Previous to that, everything was done manually. So you'd fax, email your application in. Our small team would manually process those permits, check the route, make sure the route was okay to travel through, and make notes on the permit, whether or not you were traveling through a certain city or town, if you needed a municipal permit. All that's done online now. AOT engineers have uploaded all of the bridge restrictions, road restrictions. We work in coordination with New England 511 for any road work that's being done. And all that's done and updated live online. So you can log in, create an account, you can receive your permit on the spot. There's no wait time. Currently, I'm not gonna call it our next phase, but the completion of the project in the next couple of months will be onboarding municipalities. So all of those municipal permits that you would have to contact the city for, or the town, will all be uploaded as well. And you can receive that permit at the same time that you're getting your oversized permit.
So are these I know my town clerk had said it was really hard to do those permits, the overweight permits. Is that what we're talking about? No.
It's not hard to do the permit. But it's an extra step to have to contact the municipality to do
Right.
that. Yes,
Right. And then
So once they're-
municipalities have to do their own.
exactly.
So now it's all linked together.
So for instance, Chester, I think, has some restrictions. You'd have to get a permit from them. Once they're onboarded and they're in the system, if you're traveling through that town, you could get that permit at the same time that you could get your oversized permit.
And is it being rolled out to the towns right now? Is that what you said?
It will be. We just wrapped up this entire project with all of our own permits. And now we're gonna move on to municipalities. To
And will
include
they
them.
sign up one at a time? Did they sign up to do it?
They will be signing up one at a time. So we'll work in coordination with the city of, or the League of Cities and Towns.
Representative Burke and then.
I think Representative McCoy was before me.
Well, I was scanning left to right. We'll flip the coin. Please, then go ahead.
Okay. So
Thank you.
getting back to the municipalities, so how does the, because Fulton's permit was $10.
Mhm.
So what happens? Are they paying the state and the state's reimbursing the town?
So that's the part of the
Then grow up and.
exactly, that's what we're working on now, is how that's gonna work. Are they gonna collect the fee at the same time and we're gonna reimburse them?
Great, and then you just let the municipalities know these particular.
Exactly, they'll have access to see their own permits.
Okay.
So they can log in as the town
Okay.
and they can see what's gonna shoot.
Is it something that you work through the Vermont Leagues of Cities and Towns with, or for individual towns, or is this one of these 80-20 rules where 20% of the towns get 80% of the permits because they're on Route 4 or Route 7, or
We'll be working in coordination with the League of Cities and Towns.
just curious how that works, but I'm sorry, Representative Burke. Representative Burke, I'm sorry. Your turn.
Yeah, I met with a constituent recently who feels that the amounts, the permits that the trucks are paying is not enough to, given the damage to the road. So I wanted to ask about that. And I also wanted to ask about, we have, Route 9 continues to be a huge issue. These overwide trucks. I don't feel like they should have a permit to go on Route 9, but I guess that because it's a part of the national highway system, you can't restrict it. Is that correct?
We can't, though it needs to be legislated.
We might-
Need to be legislated,
Oh, we could
same as the price, the fees.
We could restrict overwide trucks on Route 9.
You could, I'm not sure if it's a busy route, so
It's, yeah. I mean,
There's a lot of traffic routes
barreling
there for
down,
industry.
Between Marlboro and Brattleboro, the road is like that. And there's no shoulder. There's ledge and there's the brook.
But it is a beautiful brand new road.
And they come barreling down there and then they come barreling into very populated part of Brattleboro. I mean, it's a speed enforcement issue, but, and it's, they're driving too fast. So, but let's separate out the issue of the amount that is paid. Have you looked at that in terms of, is that adequate to?
I can't say that we have. But the fees would need to be legislated
We'd have
to
to do a
change.
fee bill.
or at least do some research.
Uh-huh. How would I start? I mean, I guess what I'm interested in is how do you determine what's a fair fee, given the damage that they may cause to the road?
I don't think I would know it. I would say if I had to guess, you'd have to do the research on the repairs to the roads over the years. How much has been spent?
I mean, have the fees gone up in a long time? I mean, I guess.
I don't recall that they've gone up for the permits. recently.
Well, I guess I'd like to be able to answer my constituent in some way.
Yeah, I can get some answers. if you
Okay,
want.
that'd be great. Thank
At
you.
least when the fees were changed last.
Okay, and whether, is that adequate? I guess you could ask town people, like people in Wilmington or
Along Route 9.
along the route. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Do the fees all paid by the weight, the load, or the?
So-
Fees, or how?
Once you get past a certain weight, it becomes an oversized load, a super load essentially. And there is a survey fee, which is, I think, 1,500. Done. It has to go to the engineers to make sure that the axle spacing is correct, the weight on each axle is correct. So there is a higher fee for those super loads. And we're talking way over 80,000 pounds.
Wind turbine.
Exactly the,
Yeah.
Representative Pouch is up, and then it's Representative White, and then it's Representative Keiser, and back over here to Representative Lally if she had a question there.
Hot topic.
Thanks, Bert, forget if you were done. I'm not-
Me too.
Well, you still have the floor if you want it.
No, it's all right.
You want,
I'll come around.
okay.
The database has the bridge limits, road limits. Does it have the temporary closures of town roads
it does.
in there too? So, okay.
And bridges.
Pretty comprehensive,
And,
Bridges.
yeah,
which is
so, all right, thanks.
So, just a clarifying question. So these commercial vehicles, are these only oversized, overweight trucks that are traveling through Vermont that are required to get these special permits?
correct. Over a certain weight, over length, height.
And following up on Representative Burke's question, it sounds like you've got a database that knows what roads are open, what bridge weights are, et cetera. Is the state doing anything to prioritize? We want these heavy trucks on these specific roads that we are maintaining at this level, and we want to keep them off of these other roads. I guess you kind of answered that already, but just so we as a state, we do have the ability to push them to certain roads.
Our
and keep them
engineers
off of others.
have all that information and work on that.
I'm sorry.
Our engineers work on those at AOT. And so they have the ability to decide whether or not a road can take so much weight. And that's what we would reroute somebody. And that's all done behind the scenes automatically. So when they put in their route, or their destination, I should say, it's going to route them through the best route, not according to which roads can take which weights.
So your team will tell them, here's the route we want you to take.
Correct.
Okay. And is there a map of like, can we see what roads are available for these over?
You could, actually, New England 511 page has all that information.
Okay, it does. Okay. And it's labeled just commercial vehicle trucking route?
You'll see like little symbols on there and tells you what the restriction is for a length or a width or, a width or a weight.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Keiser.
Yeah, thanks for this. And to continue on some of the talk about the how much it costs and such things like that. There are what you're talking about is transit permits. In other words, transit through the state with overweights, which is
Right.
fine. Okay, now, do you deal with the town permits, the overweight town permits that come out in the spring? Will this be part of what you're doing?
Once we start working with them in February and onboard them, it will be.
Okay, now to Representative Burke's point, having done this in the past, and it was Hubbardton that we dealt with, you paid $10 to be able to run on not overweight, but just run on dirt roads. It seems like there's an opportunity if we re-examine to maybe update some of these prices that we're charging. So this is a good thing. We can consolidate and look at what we're charging for such things. And I do remember that when we did overweight stuff, most of all that traffic typically was on interstates.
Mhm.
They did not let us get out onto the other side roads and such things like that. It was pretty prescriptive. It was prescriptive. Yeah, thank you.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Collier. We'll come back around here. Yep.
If I just add, in the conversation, I know our agency friends, AOT, are gonna be here first before us. I mean, with the initial two phases of this e-permitting was done with Jeremy Reed and his team, the chief engineer. I would target some of those more. How do you decide traffic and routing more to them? We're kind of the front facing, if you will. But a lot of that's on the engineering side. And I just don't want to get too far in front of our skis because it's kind of, that's a little bit outside our wheelhouse from the sea.
So you administer, you
Yes.
administer the interaction with the requesters and the back and forth, but the policy and the setups is done by the
Yeah.
highway engineer departments and whatnot. That makes sense. Just like you're the front facing on all of our interaction with Vermonters and whatnot, but you don't set the piece in the back. I got you. Which are we all set over there? And then it was back to Representative Burke if she was against, and then back over to Representative McCoy.
Allow it in California.
Well, I think it was.
Yeah, I just, because it seems like you guys have the data to be able to do ports and answer questions. I was wondering, how is this, maybe just anecdotally, is this helping to keep some of the trucks out of the notch? I mean, that's been a huge.
It's a completely. It's a whole nother situation.
Real.
It'll come up this session, so.
So
What did they call them?
we got the notch and we have the
Catch and release?
2/3,
What's the
1/3
name
all
of the-
mentioned in the first.
The areas of the- I can't name it.
Still think we need the picture of the four people from the Wizard of Oz, the lion, the scarecrow, and just say, I turn back.
One place where billboards are allowed in Vermont.
The things they did put up certainly work. I mean, I went through them on a regular basis. It's far easier to go through the other side at night. Representative Burke, you're up.
Yeah, I'm sort of following up on this. This is actually a topic that I started before the pandemic because I had another constituent who was really concerned about traffic on Route 9. And I got a lot of data from DMV about where trucks came from, where they're going. And a lot of it was mobile, homes, what do you call it, manufactured homes.
Modular homes.
And modular homes, and it's like coming from places like Pennsylvania. And the issue was that for some reason, and I never really got this, then the pandemic interrupted and I never got final answers because they were going to get in touch with the Mass Pike, is that apparently the bridges on the Mass Pike do not allow for a certain height. And that's why a lot of the trucks are going up over, crossing over Route 9 instead of the Mass Pike, going to Springfield and getting on 91. So they're taking Route 9 over to the 91. So I don't know if there's a way to find out. Is there a restriction on Route 9, on the Mass Pike? And can we encourage or whatever trucks to go that route? It seems like that would be a better route anyway. So I'm concerned about basically about the safety issues, particularly with the overload trucks and somebody coming, especially snowstorms. I mean, I've heard people who live up in Marlboro just terrified of running into one of these overload trucks. So I'm just trying to figure out how to keep on this issue, I guess. Do you have contact with, maybe this is for V-Trans, to ask them about getting in touch with given what Commissioner just said, maybe it's an issue for V-Trans in terms of planning routes, if they could get in touch with somebody from the Mass Pike to see
Agreed, yeah, like the commissioner said, I would agree,
Yeah.
it's probably best.
if they design a different route or encourage or something.
And they do work with our partner states all the time, so.
Yeah, okay, great, thank you. Picking up this thread from like 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Right,
Representative McCoy? Yes.
So the municipal permitting, do you know, does every town, when they issue an overweight permit, is it $10? Or does it vary from town to town? And is that
Yeah,
when you build this system?
I believe it's 10
It's
for,
10.
yeah, for all of them, for
Okay.
statewide,
That's my question.
and again, that's up to them to change if they wanted to, but no matter what.
Well, that's what do they have that ability
They
or is
would.
that something that's set through the That's the other question I had, so. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that'll be interesting when we start working with the
Yeah,
local
okay.
cities and towns. And what's great is that they have the access to go in and do their own work and
Yes.
research in there
Okay,
through their portal.
thank you.
Representative Keezy?
So now we've got this thing online, or we're going to have this thing online, and to the Route 9 issue. And we all understand what that is. It might be also Mendon Mountain, or it might be 15, it doesn't matter. Can the approved permit be amended based on an event, like if we had an event like this, a snowstorm or something? Can we amend so that they don't travel, or they've been restricted? Is there any modification of the permit once it's issued?
So technically you have to apply for a new permit. With that said, though, we have amended them for situations like that.
Yeah, I mean,
It's good for a week. So we issue it, you have a week in order to move.
right.
And in that time, something could happen. So we have to put a statement out or issue something. If the road's closed, for instance, the road's closed, there's nothing that we could do about that.
And that may be something to consider. And I know this is how are you going to contact people and all that,
Exactly.
those issues? But it seems, anyway, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else? Well, I would say Commissioner Collier and Deputy Commissioner and Jordan, I appreciate very much the joining us this morning. Appreciate obviously you sparked a lot of interest with the questions. You'll probably have a pretty long list of follow-up questions in there as well. Thank you all very much.